I thought it'd be one of those like wholehearted, it's emotional but in like a cute way kind of game, and oh my god, how wrong I was. Hello everyone, it's Luli, and today I'm doing my first ever non-otome review, so basically a normal game review. I'll be talking about the Almost Gone, which I played on Switch, and I'll be telling you about how long it took me, what kind of game it is, and I don't know, my thoughts on it. But this is a spoiler-free review, so feel free to be a bit more relaxed. I'm not going to review anything, or it's so that you guys can go ahead and play it yourself, basically. But anyway, let me start. So the Almost Gone is basically a kind of puzzle, isometric, so you're put in this little house type of thing. You're the main character, who I believe is, I don't know whether she's dead. I think she's the way she speaks sounds like she's looking in the past, looking at things from a third person view. But it's an isometric puzzle adventure where you start off in a little house, and basically you have to find objects. It's almost like an escape room experience where you're in here and then you find a locked door. So then you have to go and find an object which helps you solve this puzzle or whatever, and all these different things that you have to do in order to unlock this door, and so on and so forth. So that's the kind of gameplay it involves, and there are 5 acts. And I think the fun thing about this is the puzzles weren't too difficult, but they weren't necessarily too easy either. It was quite a nice balance. Whenever I got stuck, it tended to be because I didn't find a particular item, or I had completely missed something silly. So in that sense, it kind of reminds me a little bit of games like Zero Escape, where you leave and come back and you just notice something that you didn't notice, and you're like, God, so dumb. That sort of thing. And I think the key is to be very careful what you're looking at, because it's isometric. You kind of can flick L and R to kind of sort of change the angle, because obviously there are 4 different sides, and obviously if you're silly like me and you happen to be staring at one angle and you forgot about the other angles, you might miss objects here and there. So yeah, it's that kind of puzzle game. It took me about maybe 3 hours to complete. Obviously it depends on who you are, if you want to binge it. I binged it, so I got through it pretty quickly. But if you want to take your time, then obviously it's going to feel longer. Personally, that's a good thing. Sometimes I feel like I need a game where it's quite short and sweet, not too long, because whenever a game's really long, I feel a little bit almost overwhelmed. So for me, this is a good thing. I'm happy that it was only a 3 to 4 hour long game. But obviously for those who are looking for something much longer, it may not be appealing to you. But yeah, so the story consists of this girl, Emily. She just kind of ends up, as a third person looking through this house. As you look through this house and escape and go to the next act, and because each place is different. The first one was a house, but the next one will be another location, and then another location, so on and so forth. So in each different location, as you solve these puzzles, you learn more and more about Emily and her family. And at the beginning, when before I booted up this game and started playing it, I thought, oh, this looks really cute. Oh, it's gonna be a cute game. And yeah, the description said that it's an emotional adventure and all of this, but I thought it'd be one of those wholehearted, it's emotional but in a cute way kind of game, and oh my god, how wrong I was. And trust me, you'll be glad that I told you this, because I'm not going to tell you obviously the details because that's a spoiler, but the moment you start playing it, you're like, this got dark really quickly. Honestly, if you are triggered by certain things, I would definitely look into what the trigger warnings are, because it got dark immediately. I was like, I thought this was gonna be a cute, cozy, look around, pick up the object and get out and explore. I thought that's the kind of game I had in front of me, not some of the things that happened, I was just like, whoa. But one thing to note is that every time you look through objects, Emily will say things if you pick up the map of constellations. She'll be like, oh, I remember when I learnt this with my father, or, you know, oh, I remember going camping with my dad, or like, you know, she'll say things like that. And, you know, I kind of regret not paying more attention, because by the end of this game, because I wasn't paying entirely like my whole attention to these little things she was saying, I felt like I didn't completely understand the story. Now I'll go on and talk about that a little bit more, but basically not all objects lead to solving the puzzle. So there will be certain objects that you pick up and look at, and Emily will comment on it, that doesn't actually have anything to do with kind of, you know, helping you escape that location. But I think the importance in those comments is for you to kind of like fill the gaps of understanding almost, and to help you interpret the story in your own way. But because I was so like, I binged it and I was so obsessively trying to solve the puzzles to get out of each of these locations or move on to the next part of the story, I completely missed that. So when I completed the game, I was kind of like, oh no, I wish I had, you know, probably paid attention, because although I kind of get the gist of what happened, I feel like I have so many questions. So talking about that, this game, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want to play it again. Yes, I know all the puzzles now, I know how to get through each bit, so in that sense it would be quite repetitive for me, but the way it's written really makes you sort of, I think different people will interpret the acts in a separate, like different kind of way. The way I understood bits of the story, there are bits where I'm like, no, yeah, this definitely happened. While other things, I'm kind of a bit iffy, and I kind of want to talk to someone else about it, which is partially why I made this video. I don't know, I feel like I definitely want to go back and play through it so that I take more note of the little things that pop up as Emily's comments. So that's one thing I wanted to tell you, that when you do play this game, to pay attention even to the objects that may not help you, you know, get to your next destination or whatever, because they are kind of key in understanding what happened. And I think I did read kind of like an interview with the developers, and I think the game isn't supposed to be where the story is completely clear cut. It's supposed to be so that different people can interpret the story in their own way. So in some ways, I think it's great that it's kind of open-ended almost. It definitely gives room for discussion with others and what they thought the story meant, or because although I have my theories, I feel like that's not necessarily the truth, it's my truth, but not the truth, if you know what I mean. And I would love to know what the writer was thinking, or what the writer meant when she wrote all the different bits and pieces. But yeah, so that's that. My personal rating is probably about a 4 out of 5. Maybe I should rate it out of 10, but like, okay, if it's out of 10, I'd say maybe a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. The reason why I liked it so much is because, you know, it was so immersive, and there were bits where I had my headphones on and it's like really quiet. So when there is noise, it has like a massive almost impact, like, whoa, what happened? Like, I don't know. So I do recommend you play it with headphones on and like a dark room. It's not horror, it's not scary, because I can't play horror games, but there are moments where it really kind of hits you hard and makes you feel almost a little bit uncomfortable maybe. So I would recommend it to those who love story-driven games like myself, absolutely love the dark mysteries and all that sort of thing, like emotional stuff that almost hits you in the core. If you're the type of person that likes that, you know, because I'm like that, then I would recommend it too. If you're looking for something that's short and sweet, but in a good way, I also recommend it to those who want that too. Now, I would not recommend it to those who are looking for a really long adventure, because, as I said, you know, 3 to 4 hours. I could probably complete it now in an hour because I know where all the things are. I also wouldn't recommend it to those who are triggered easily by dark topics. I'm not gonna say the trigger warnings here because, one, I feel like I don't have the, you know, ability to state all of them, and two, they are spoilers. Like, the trigger warnings will be spoilers. So But if you are sensitive, then definitely go and look that up, because it did get quite, yeah. I would also not recommend it to those who are looking for like a grand long adventure, because it's made to be like what it is. And also I would not recommend it to those who are looking for lots of action-packed gameplay. This doesn't have a timer or anything. You're supposed to complete it at your own pace, which for me is a good thing, but if you're the type that likes action, you want like things to always constantly be happening, then this may not be for you, because it is supposed to be, okay, maybe not relaxing because it's so dark, but like it's supposed to be a calm kind of game where you take your time, or binge it like me, but I think you're supposed to take your time and absorb each of the little bits of information you collect. But anyway, so that kind of ends this review. Hopefully you found it helpful. As it's my first ever non-otome review, obviously I would really appreciate it if you gave me kind of feedback on what, you know, what more info you'd like. Oh, also the game is $8.99, I believe. I got it on sale for like $1.79 or something, so it was super cheap for me, but I think it is worth $8.99. If you know, care a lot about length, then maybe wait till a sale though, because, you know, I understand that some people like kind of get value from how long they spent in the game rather than necessarily what it consisted of. So, but yeah, that's the price. Again, going back to what I was saying, please do give me feedback. If there is anything more you would appreciate if I include in these reviews. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos or streams. Bye!